Hi guys, and welcome back to another Let's Build episode. So last time we were building up the grounds around Arlecliff, our Mages Guild, and as part of that we built up this nice path through the mountains which is leading to our next project, which is the Dwarven Town of Dornburim. Now if you're new to the channel at all, we do a lot of tutorials and time lapses just like this one, so make sure to hit the subscribe button. Also, if you're new to the series at all, I'll leave a link in the description and also in the card above to the full playlist so you guys can catch yourselves up. Anyway, let's get into building. So the area that we had to build was in between each of these mountain peaks, so high in the mountains, and there was all these valleys, and this is where I got the idea of building this little dwarven town or dwarven village. So I just flattened out the terrain and also built a nice path going through, so I needed a nice clean path so I could then figure out where all of these different buildings are going to go off of it. So for the first building, I wanted to do something that was quite iconic, something that's going to be used quite a lot, and it was a tavern / inn. So we've got a couple rooms at the top, so it's actually a two-floor. The other reason I wanted to do this kind of building was so that, because it's a bigger building, I can try out little bits of different styles and kind of get an idea of how to do Dwarven. So overall, it's not the best Dwarven style in the world, but it's also quite interesting, and it has a lot of the features that I actually get to use later on and kind of expand on and make better. The other thing I did with this is built out a bit of an interior, because with all of these houses next to each other, I had to actually dig out the interior, figure out how the rooms sizes are, so that if I build one next to it, it doesn't clash. Then moving on to one of the dwarven houses, what I wanted to do this time is actually use the shape of the peak that we had, which was quite rounded, and actually use that to try and build our dwarven structure around it. And I actually think this worked a lot better. Again, going for a two-floor because it's part of that entrance. I wanted to make it look quite cool and, you know, make it look built up so it's not all hidden in the mountaintop. And then again with this house, actually using the other side of it to actually build around it. So at this time getting angles, and actually with the windows, these look really cool with the angles, and again playing around with these different styles and different blocks that we've got, stone blocks, to make it look really interesting. Now it wouldn't be a dwarven town without having a whole blacksmith or a smithy for a master smith. The idea being that they craft these excellent weapons, then they give them to the Mages Guild who enchant them and then sell them on, and that's how they get all of their wealth from this town and how it works in harmony with the Mages Guild. So again, going for two floors and making it look really quite interesting with all the different stone blocks that we got. Now one of the things I wanted to get into, and something that you guys can help me with, is the religion for the dwarves. So I wanted to build a temple, make it, you know, of course out of lots of stone. This is also the only building that has stained glass, so I wanted to make it so that it's slightly different. So usually they just have these open windows or open kind of slits that they could board up from the inside. But with this one, it's got some stained glass in there. So if you guys have any ideas of how we can flesh out a dwarven religion, that would be really awesome. So coming around to the back, what I want to do with the temple is actually have it where it has this big balcony, and it's the only point in the entire dwarven town which is actually sticking out and actually visible from outside the small valley. So it's the only bit where you actually know where it is, but it's actually hidden in itself as well, so by the peak that's just on the left there. So coming around again, building up another one of these houses. So we need lots of little houses around, and yeah, again trying to use the actual cliff face. This seems to be the best method of doing dwarven houses because it makes it look a lot more natural and forces you to do different shapes which mix up the different bits of your stone blocks. So higher up on this path, it was really small, so it was only 2 blocks wide for the path. So instead of actually building right next to the road, I decided to push this back, put in a couple pillars, and actually it worked really well with the 45-degree angle. Unfortunately, it meant the interior for this one is absolutely tiny. So next what I was actually going to build was a kind of like a shopping complex for dwarves, so kind of like an inside mall, but yeah, so a couple rooms where we're going to have different bits of crafts where they can sell their wares, but potentially one of the mages comes up here and has their own little shop as well. As part of that, there was this open area where I decided to actually build a bathhouse, so there's actually a bathhouse for dwarves as well. It's where they can go and wash their beards. So here is the final product of episode 1 of Dornburim, because in episode 2, which is the next one, we're going to be building up the keep for the dwarf lord who lives here. So we've got the inn, we built up the blacksmith, we also built the temple and a load of different houses in this small town. I'm actually really happy with how the style has evolved over time, so my advice to you guys if you're going to be doing Dwarven is to make them odd shapes. It will really help with your building and make it look a lot more interesting. We can also see here that we've got the shopping area and also that dwarven bathhouse. Anyway guys, hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one.